Welcome to History with Herodotus, where we delve into the fascinating tales of our collective past, weaving together the threads of human experience, science, and culture. Today, we embark on a journey to explore one of the pivotal moments in American history, the Montgomery Bus Boycott. This remarkable episode, which unfolded in the mid-20th century, not only reshaped the landscape of civil rights, but also underscored the indomitable spirit of a community demanding equality and justice. In the heart of Alabama, where the Civil War had left its indelible mark, the city of Montgomery stood as a testament to the enduring legacy of segregation. It was here, amidst the complex tapestry of racial tension and social change, that the seeds of revolution were sown. To understand the boycott, we must first immerse ourselves in the world of Montgomery's African-American community during the early 1950s. This was a time when segregation laws, known as Jim Crow laws, governed nearly every aspect of life, from education and employment to public transportation and recreation. The city's buses, operated by the Montgomery City Line, were no exception, with strict rules enforcing separate seating areas for black and white passengers. One figure, whose actions would soon ignite the flames of change, was Rosa Parks, a 42-year-old seamstress who had grown weary of the humiliation inflicted upon her community. On December 1, 1955, after finishing her shift at the local department store, Parks boarded bus number 2857 headed for her home in the Cleveland Court Projects. As the bus filled with passengers, the driver, James F. Blake, ordered Parks and three others in the colored section to give up their seats to make room for white riders. While the others complied, Parks, exhausted from a long day of work and fueled by years of indignation, refused to yield her seat. This act of defiance, though not spontaneous, was the culmination of years of activism within Montgomery's African-American community. Organizations such as the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, had been working tirelessly behind the scenes, laying the groundwork for a movement that would challenge the very foundations of segregation. Among these pioneers was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a young pastor at the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church, whose eloquence and leadership would soon propel him to the forefront of the civil rights movement. In the days leading up to Parks's historic stand, Montgomery had already witnessed stirrings of discontent among its African-American residents. The previous spring, a 15-year-old high school student named Claudette Colvin had been arrested for refusing to give up her seat on a bus, foreshadowing the events that would unfold in December. However, it was Parks' courageous act, coupled with her stature within the community and her willingness to face the consequences of her actions, that provided the catalyst for collective action. As news of Parks's arrest spread throughout Montgomery, local civil rights leaders quickly mobilized, recognizing an opportunity to galvanize their community around a common cause. Among these leaders were E.D. Nixon, president of the NAACP's Montgomery chapter, and Ralph Abernathy, a close friend and ally of Dr. King. Together, they began laying plans for a one-day boycott of Montgomery's buses, set to coincide with Parks's trial on December 5th. In the homes, churches, and community centers of Montgomery, a buzz of excitement and apprehension filled the air as people from all walks of life discussed the impending boycott. Flyers were distributed, meetings were convened, and strategies were debated, all under the watchful eyes of local authorities who sensed that something significant was brewing in their city. As December 5th approached, the city held its breath, anticipating the outcome of Parks's trial and the community's response to her courageous act. The boycott, initially conceived as a short-term measure, would evolve into a prolonged campaign of resistance, testing the resolve of Montgomery's African-American community and challenging the entrenched segregationist policies that had defined their lives for generations. As December 5, 1955, dawned on Montgomery, the city's African-American community stood united, determined to make a statement against the injustices of segregation. The day began with a sense of anticipation, as people from all walks of life prepared for the boycott. Flyers distributed by the NAACP and other civil rights organizations had spread the word, urging residents to stay off the buses and find alternative modes of transportation. In churches, community centers, and homes, the message was clear: It was time to take a stand against the humiliation and degradation inflicted upon them by the segregationist policies. At the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stood before his congregation, his voice filled with passion and conviction as he urged them to participate in the boycott. As the day progressed, it became clear that the boycott was a resounding success. Buses, once filled with African American passengers, now rode empty, a testament to the community's resolve. Carpooling and walking became the norm as people found creative ways to get to work, school, and other destinations without relying on the buses. The city's white residents, however, were not pleased with the turn of events. Many saw the boycott as an affront to their way of life, a challenge to the status quo that had been in place for generations. On December 6th, Parks was found guilty of violating the state's segregation laws and fined $10 plus $4 in court costs. The verdict only served to galvanize the community further, with many seeing it as a stark reminder of the injustices they faced. As news of the verdict spread, the boycott continued with no end in sight. The city's African American leaders, including Dr. King and E.D. Nixon, met regularly to discuss strategy and plan their next moves. One of the key challenges facing the boycott was the need for alternative transportation. To address this, a network of carpooling systems was established, with volunteers driving passengers to and from work, school, and other destinations. The system was complex, with multiple routes and schedules, but it worked remarkably well, thanks to the dedication and organization of the community. As Dr. King noted, the carpool system was so efficient that many people found it more convenient than riding the buses. As the days turned into weeks, the boycott showed no signs of weakening. On January 20th, 1956, a group of African American leaders, including Dr. King, met with Montgomery's mayor, W.A. Gale, to discuss the city's segregation policies. The meeting was tense, with both sides dug in and unwilling to compromise. The mayor refused to budge on the issue of segregation, while Dr. King and his colleagues insisted that it was morally wrong and unconstitutional. The boycott continued through the winter of 1956, with the community facing numerous challenges and obstacles along the way. On January 26th, Dr. King's home was bombed in a clear attempt to intimidate him and undermine the movement. The bombing, which occurred while Dr. King was speaking at a meeting, damaged his house but fortunately did not harm anyone. Despite such setbacks, the boycott remained strong, with the community more determined than ever to bring about change. As the weeks turned into months, the boycott began to take its toll on Montgomery's economy. The city's bus system, once a major source of revenue, was now on the brink of collapse. White businesses, which had long relied on African American customers, were also feeling the pinch, as many blacks chose to shop at black-owned establishments or boycott white businesses altogether. The economic pressure, combined with the moral and legal arguments presented by the civil rights leaders, eventually led to a breakthrough. On February 1, 1956, a group of African American residents, including Dr. King and E.D. Nixon, filed a federal lawsuit challenging the constitutionality of Montgomery's segregation laws. The lawsuit, known as Browder v. Gale, would ultimately make its way to the U.S. Supreme Court, where it would be decided in favor of the plaintiffs. The court's ruling, issued on November 13, 1956, declared that segregation on public buses was indeed unconstitutional, paving the way for the end of the boycott and a new era of civil rights activism in Montgomery. As the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling in Browder v. Gale was handed down on November 13, 1956, it marked a major milestone in the Montgomery Bus Boycott, paving the way for the eventual desegregation of public buses in Montgomery. The boycott officially came to an end on December 20, 1956, with African Americans resuming their use of the buses, now free from the shackles of segregation. Dr. King, reflecting on the significance of this moment, noted that the cessation of a bus boycott does not mean that the struggle for equality is at an end, but rather that one phase of the struggle has been completed. The Montgomery Bus Boycott had lasted for 381 days, with its impact extending far beyond the city's borders. The boycott's success had significant implications for the civil rights movement as a whole. It catapulted Dr. King to national prominence, establishing him as a leading figure in the fight for racial equality. The boycott also demonstrated the power of nonviolent resistance and grassroots organizing, inspiring similar movements across the South. In the decades since the Montgomery Bus Boycott, its legacy has only continued to grow. Today, the boycott is remembered as a pivotal moment in American history, a testament to the power of collective action and determination. The city of Montgomery has commemorated the boycott with various landmarks and memorials, including the Dexter Avenue King Memorial Baptist Church, where Dr. King served as pastor during the boycott. Visitors from around the world flock to these sites, seeking to understand the context and significance of this pivotal event. The Montgomery Bus Boycott's influence extends beyond the realm of civil rights as well. It has inspired social movements globally, from the anti-apartheid movement in South Africa to the Arab Spring protests in the Middle East. As Dr. King himself noted, the struggle for equality is not a local issue but a global one. The boycott's emphasis on nonviolent resistance and community organizing has made it a model for activists seeking to challenge unjust systems and bring about positive change. This pivotal event in American history serves as a testament to what can be achieved when individuals come together to challenge injustice and fight for equality. As Dr. King so eloquently put it, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. The Montgomery Bus Boycott was a significant milestone on this journey, one that continues to inspire and motivate us today. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, remember that, to understand the present, we must first understand the past.